Good Monday evening to you all out there. I hope you enjoyed another great episode of Quincy Carrier Live. Welcome into another episode of the OBR Mock Draft Duel. I'm your host, Jacob, my co-host, Mr. Sam Penix, and our good friend, Mr. Casey Kinnaman, joining us today for the festivities. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up, hit that bell. This is being pre-recorded on Sunday, so if something has happened between Sunday at 6 p.m. and when you are watching this live, Monday at 8 p.m., please don't come for me. I didn't know. I canceled my subscription to ESPN, so I don't have the ESPN to see into the future. But welcome in. I appreciate you guys for being here. Again, we're 2.5 weeks. We've got 2 more shows after this that are pre-draft mock draft duel episodes. So we're going to talk about some latest buzz. Real quick, selfish plug. I got a charity fundraiser going on, guys. Check it out. You can email me. My email is on the screen right now. If you want details, $5 entry fee where everything is going to Clutch City, which is an autism-based charity program. What we're doing is it's a predicting the first round. So what you will do, you'll go to a GoFundMe page, donate the $5, send me a receipt, then go into whatever mock draft simulator you want, do a full 32-team first round mock draft, send me those results. You'll get 1 point for every player picked in the first that you said that. You'll get an extra point if you get the pick right that they were selected at, and another point if you get the team right. So if you say the Browns are taking Travis Hunter at 2 and that happens, that's 3 points right there on that individual selection. First prize, we're going to give out some merch, some first round pick rookie merch to whoever wins this. Listen, I'm trying to get 100 people to sign up for this. 100 people, that's $500 for charity if we can do this. So email for details if you guys want to check that out. Gentlemen, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you guys had me on. Talk a little ball with 2 weeks to go. You know how this is, there's like ebbs and flows of this. And, we went through the first period of it where there's no way the Titans are taking a quarterback. They're either going to trade it or it's Abdul Carter. And we went past that. And now we're into it's Cam Ward. They've canceled all their other interviews and so the things start to become more cemented the closer we get. It's almost like the weather. You can see a forecast from 10 days, but until you get about 5 hours up to it, it's still up in the air. But we're getting closer to that, so we have a better understanding where we sit.
Yep. I like how you said shameless plug, Jacob, and it was literally for charity. Like selfish plug here, but it's for charity.
Let's do some charity work. Yeah. So guys, I want to, before we jump into our triple threat mock draft, I wanted to hit some of these topics that have been going on because Twitter has been a war zone. I put that subtly every time I write an article over at theobr.com. I'll put something in there like, well, it's changing day to day. We're fighting about this and we're fighting about that. And then today, the odds have actually switched. Abdul Carter no longer the betting odds favorite for the number 2 overall pick. He's actually the betting odds favorite for the number 3 overall pick to the Giants. With the Browns number 2 overall pick, the betting odds has switched to Travis Hunter. There's been a lot of conversation that's gone back and forth. So, Sam, I'll start with you. We know the Abdul Carter conversation. We know the Shadur Sanders conversation. We know the Travis Hunter conversation. Where do you sit with all these rumors swirling? Do you think anything has changed? Are you still leaning Abdul Carter? Or are you leaning Travis Hunter? Ultimately, where are you feeling the vibes you're getting about the number 2 overall pick with all of this shit that just keeps coming at us?
Well, I mean, what changed, right? Well, it was that workout, right? The workout on air where we didn't get any testing numbers and nothing changed. So I think it's just the ebbs and flows of the pre-draft process, people in media getting bored with just talking about the same things all the time. That isn't to say that there's no merit to Carter and Hunter, both being legitimately good options at number 2, because they are. And I don't necessarily think you can go wrong. I personally have a preference. I would go Carter, but it wouldn't be a mistake to take Travis Hunter at number 2, in my opinion. So it's just something else to talk about. I think it's beneficial to at least have the discussion and, familiarize ourselves with all the available options there. Really, it just seems like there's 2, but it's more interesting than just zeroing in on one guy for the entire process and then just trying to pick that guy apart, until there's nothing left. So,
which is how we kind of got here, I think, to some extent. Don't get me wrong. There's been plenty of rumors and national people going with the Travis Hunter stuff, and we've heard buzz. You can go over to the OBR.com and check out. We know that the Browns, and we've known at the OBR.com that the Browns love Travis Hunter. Why not? He's Casey, you talked about it. We've never seen this. We have never seen this. So, but I think it became a situation where people didn't like this or that about Abdul Carter, but couldn't convince people to go to Shadur Sanders. So they're like, well, maybe we could do Travis Hunter. And then we start picking apart all this stuff. And then we're like, well, they really need offense. And we're starting to put all this stuff together. And to me, I told you guys, I love draft season. The last couple of weeks before the draft, however, they're brutal. So Casey, same question to you.
Yeah, Sam hit it. It's the ebbs and flows, and you see the waves come up and down, and there's no way you couldn't convince me that Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are both fantastic prospects who are completely worthy of going number 2 overall. So it just becomes, what's your plan? What's your plan for said players? I believe the plan for Abdul Carter is much more straightforward because I'm just putting him at edge and hopefully giving him a numbers advantage with Miles on the other side and go make opposing quarterbacks' lives miserable. That's a pretty easy plan to put in place. With Hunter, there's a little more nuance because what are the roles going to be? This kid can do so much, but are you spreading him too thin? Do you have to have a certain battle plan? And is he going to be on board with your battle plan? There's just a lot more moving parts. Phenomenal talent. He could be a unicorn. He could be something this league literally hasn't seen since they went to color television. Right. It's that historic what he's capable of, but you got to see it in action. And there's a little more wiggle room with what's possible and how much of it's just wish casting that a player can do all these things. But if he actually goes and does it, then he's worth multiple number 1 overalls. If he's going to be a 2-way starter and affect the game on both sides, it's fun to think about. But it's a lot harder to put that plan into action and see it actually come to that. So just because the plan's more difficult, I lean towards Carter because that's a plug and play and I'm forgetting about it.
That's a really good angle. That I was honestly kind of where I was at the beginning of the offseason, where it was like, I think Travis Hunter is going to be tremendous. I don't know what to do with him. And sometimes you'll hear draft analysts like Trevor Sikkema is like, I would not want to draft Jalen Walker because I don't know what to do with him. The linebacker edge hybrid from Georgia. He's like him and Michael Williams. He's like, I think they're tremendous talents. I think somebody else should figure out how to play them. Things like that, where it's like, I sometimes come there with Travis Hunter, but I was saying this the other day that the one thing I like about Travis Hunter is even if you say he's more a corner than a wide receiver, if he gets 5 to 8 touches, 8 to 10 touches a game on offense, if that's it, but they're touches, not plays, but touches. He's a difference maker. And that could be a situation where he plays 15 snaps on that side and you give him the ball 8 times, 5 times, whatever it is. I'm just saying, just some manufacturer touches, some go routes, whatever it is you want to do with him. I just think he can make a massive impact and then be more corner, like if that's what you wanted to do. And people say, well, is he a good enough wide receiver to be the number 2 pick if he's just a wide receiver? Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's just a freak as a way with the ball in his hands. That there's nothing else to it. Is there any? I'm thinking. Is there any other hot button Browns draft topics we need to hit before we? I don't think there's.
I don't think so. But along the lines of Hunter, one of the arguments against taking him as a corner and then playing him 10, 15 snaps a game on offense is, well, then the defense knows he's getting the ball when he's out there.
True.
But
true.
One, okay, try and stop him. That's fine. 2, that opens up a ton of decoy possibilities where they're just always, focused on him. And then, Jerry Jeudy just,
There's Jerry Jeudy,
took a pass 75 yards for a touchdown. Cool. Like, that's fine. So I don't really get the whole, well, the defense knows what's coming, because that's not how the NFL works. There's an argument to be made that is the case when the skill personnel or the arm strength of the quarterback or the protection dictates certain route concepts are not options.
Right.
And that was the case a couple years ago when the Browns just had no spacing whatsoever in their receiver room. But that's not the case now. And I think adding a player of Hunter's caliber, which, I mean, Jerry Jeudy had a great season. David Njoku is great, but the Browns do not have an offensive player in general right now who is on anywhere close to Hunter's level, I think, as a player or as an athlete. So even if it's only 10 to 15 snaps a game, 5 to 8 touches, that is a difference maker, and it gives you a new dimension to your offense that you didn't have before.
And it stresses the opposing team out during the week looking for those packages. They have to prepare for that.
When's he going to come? What are they going to do?
Yeah. So that's taken away from the preparation time, just making them focus on these things that might not even happen, but they have to be ready and aware for it. So
hell, you can put Travis Hunter out there, and he didn't even have to run a route. Just have him run a fake screen.
You could do what Ole Miss did with Trey Harris, where he just lines up in his stance, and then they snap the ball, and he doesn't move, and then they throw the ball to him. Like, what is this?
The Trey Harris situation. Trey Harris for me was / is such a tough eval. Like, I don't know what Lane was doing there. And then he gets hurt, and then you're like, well, damn it. And I always hate when, like, a good player who's on a good kind of on a heater like Trey Harris was, you're like, okay, let me see. It's how I feel about Josh Simmons, where I was like, oh yeah, this looks really awesome. I'd be like, let me get 14 games of this, 16 games of this. And they're like, hey, there goes his patella. And you're like, great, that's awesome. Okay. So we'll discuss some of the trade backup options. Actually, let me just ask you guys. We don't have to get super, super deep into this. If Shedeur Sanders is there at 20, 21, not 22, 23 or 24, 22 is not an option. But if he's somewhere in the 20s, 20, if he makes it past – see, I did a mock last night that I just threw up for a first round, and I put him 21 to the Steelers. And I was told by a Steelers fan, like, they have not visited with him. They were not at his pro day. They did not talk to them. They don't have a workout scheduled with him. Granted, that stuff could have flown under the radar, and they may have had a conversation with him. We just don't know.
Justin Gilbert.
Well, I didn't want – you had to do it, didn't you?
You did. You did the grenade. JG grenade.
But anyway, so so it just a reminder, we are pre-recording this. If you're watching this live stream, we're not ignoring you. I have a stupid schedule right now.
I'm ignoring you.
Yes. But if he gets there, if he gets to 20 and you're afraid the Steelers are going to get him, or if he gets to 24, are you comfortable going up there, giving up probably pick 67, going up there and getting Shedeur in the 20s?
I'll let Sam go first.
No.
Well, shit.
Not for me. Look, he does things well, and I know he's highly regarded and everything, but I don't see him having the physical tools to even function as an NFL starter, in my opinion. I think he can be a guy who, spends 10, 15 years in the league because, everyone raves about his processing ability and his anticipation of these things. Personally, I thought Cam Ward was a more anticipatory passer than Sanders from what I saw on tape. But I know I'm not in the majority there. I saw far too many plays where he thinks he has a lot more athletic ability and he thinks he has a lot more arm strength than he actually does. And the kinds of throws that he makes, he does not have the velocity on his throws to fit the ball into NFL windows. And I saw far too many times in college where he makes a throw, there's a window there, but the ball takes too long to get there, and it either gets picked or it allows a defender to recover and get his arm in there. And there's like no out routes, like deep out routes 10, 15 yards down the field where Cam Moore just, wakes up and throws those, with his eyes closed, just time after time after time. And Sanders did not have the arm strength to drive the ball to the hashes or to the numbers. And that concerns me because that severely limits what you're able to do in an offense. I've seen him like get the ball downfield. So it's like, how does this work? Like, I don't understand quite, but for me, I don't think he has enough physical talent to warrant me giving up picks to move up and take him. I would be interested at like 67 just because I think that's worth the risk, but there's no way he's making it that far, so that's a moot point. But for me, I would not personally be interested in a trade up. I know that's probably a very unpopular opinion, but that's how I currently feel after finishing up his tape.
All right. There's not a quarterback I'm trading back into the first round for, be it Sanders, be it Dart, whoever. I'm not even entertaining it. Not giving up assets. I view every quarterback outside of Cam Ward as developmental. People who need, like, in Sanders' case, there's things you can definitely point to that he does well. And this, I don't like tearing down prospects. I'm not saying someone probably will take a stab on him in the first round at some point, right? Like, somewhere. If you look at the things he does well, I mean, when you keep him in structure and on time, he's a very accurate quarterback, but he gets outside of that too often. And the sacks that I see him take, like that, there are certain things that travel with you from college to the pros, and typically quarterbacks who take a lot of sacks, that plagues them at the next level, especially with the game speeding up. So he's someone if I get Shedeur Sanders, I want the opportunity to let him sit and learn and acclimate to the speed of the game so that when he gets out there, he just doesn't revert into those old habits. So I look at him as more of a developmental guy who I think could be an adequate starter in the NFL. I think that it probably comes in year 2 or year 3 as opposed to drafting him and starting him right away. So if I'm going to move up in the draft to select a quarterback in the first round, I would expect that to be a player who can contribute immediately, because I know the guy that I'm giving up picks at 33 and 67, I'm expecting that out of them. If I have those picks, I'm trying to use people are going to at minimum contribute on like either a rotational basis on a line or a full-time starter. So I don't want to give up those picks to draft a guy that I'm not going to, hopefully don't even see until 2026.
He's the only one I would trade up for, and it would have to be the mid 20s for me. 24, 25, I would go and do it, just because I can see a world where Kevin sets him up for success. Mm-hmm. I see a world where he is very successful with Kevin Stefanski. How optimistic am I? I go read my profile of him. I called him a second round talent. But I understand that you have to overdraft quarterbacks sometimes. He's the most accurate passer in this class. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But the way you said it, Sam, is what I've been saying all along. He thinks he's Lamar Jackson. Like the way he plays the game, I think he thinks he's Lamar Jackson. Not necessarily as the runner for yardage, but as the runner to run around. He thinks he's that level of athlete, and he thinks he has Cam's arm or whoever. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's probably a better example because Kyler's got a bazooka. He thinks he has a bazooka, and he thinks he can run and evade like Lamar, and both of those are just not true. Can he get the ball downfield? Sam, like you said, he can. sometimes, but like when he's in structure, he's amazing. But
Mhm.
so's Jackson Dart. like, if we're being completely honest, when Jackson Dart's in structure, he does a great job. Like, oh, one hitch, throw, got it. So it's like, where do you draw that line? Whereas, like, I think you could probably get Milrow at 33 or probably Dart at 33 or something like that. But I'm not going up. I'm probably not going up. I've done it. I've done mocks where I've gone up for Dart and things like that. But all honesty, on draft night, he's the one. If it was at 24 or 25, I do see a vision where it's successful. So I would go up there, but I'm not going up any higher.
Yep.
And
I
he's
think
the only one. Like,
in order for him to be successful, I think he has to have that system around him that keeps him in structure, timing based, rhythm based. He has to have impeccable timing and anticipation, especially on throws outside the numbers. And if he can do all those things, I think he can have success. But how much does that limit your team is also a consideration. Is that the kind of player that you're willing to commit to as your long-term starter? I don't know the answer to that. Like, the Browns may feel like, okay, that's way better than what we're dealing with. Please just take us back to the days where we have Baker Mayfield and we're not sure if he's the guy or not, just because he's fine. I don't know. Or maybe that could be the thinking that they could, feel completely differently. I don't know. But like you said, I think a team is going to take him in the first round, and we'll see if he can maximize the positive traits that he does have, and if he can improve on those, pretty concerning areas, especially under pressure.
All right. 22 minutes of us talking about draft things. Let's get into some mocks. Casey, you're the guest. So you're up, big dog.
All right. Well, I kind of let the cat out of the bag earlier. My thought process as we stand right here today, this comes down between Carter and Hunter. And I'm looking at just the quickest path to helping this team out. And for me, that is Abdul Carter. Now, can you have concerns about his injury? Absolutely. And he has to go into your facility and he has to be checked out by your medical team. And they have to pass him with flying colors that it's not going to be an issue. Because I tell you right now, if they draft Abdul Carter, then 2 weeks later we hear that he's going to have surgery, then
I'm going to lose my mind.
This is going to be a hellscape.
I am going to lose my mind if that happens.
But in this world, in my simulation in my mind, what happened is he went to Cleveland. The doctors checked him out, said he's okay. He's going to be ready for OTAs, and we're going to set him on the opposite side of Myles Garrett. And the opposing quarterbacks are going to lose sleep before they play us. Abdul Carter.
I like it. Sam, I'll throw you up there.
Right. I'm trying to think about what I want to do as far as I think what happened last time was I took Hunter and then you traded down, right? So
I believe so, yeah.
Let's find a trade partner. Who do we think is still?
I did. I traded down and I took Tyler Warren, and they were
So my mock draft dropped yesterday, and I traded back to 10 and picked up Mimbu.
Yeah.
People read that. Which I can get with it, but people hated it, and they also have a hard time reconciling. Like, not every mock is a what I would do or what they would do. Some are just thought experiments. If we trade back, what could that land us? What does that look like in the mid rounds? Does it raise the floor of the whole draft class? And people cannot wrap their minds around it. And I also drafted Milrow, and people hate that when you do that. So I'm gonna keep doing that. I think
he's a running back. Cool. I'm like, God, I get so much. I get so much Lamar Jackson deja vu when I hear that, dude. Like, so much.
But if he's successful, 4 years will go by, and everybody's like, "Oh, I told you I was in on him. I knew he was special.
I told you, just give him some time. He had a big arm. He's a crazy athlete.
I always believed.
Yeah.
We'll read that in 4 years.
Yeah, we'll just sit here and laugh.
All right. So the Panthers called and they wanted to trade up and get a premier pass rusher. So they offered me their first and 74. So this is in this situation, the Browns are not confident in any of the quarterbacks in this class being a high-level starter long-term, or at least having a high chance of becoming that. And we're hedging our bets for next year, unfortunately.
And Carolina's on the
So-
short list of teams that you could see still struggling and giving
Yep.
you a
Yep.
top 10 selection next year.
Yep. Ammunition to do what you have to do next year. So we've got some different prospects on the board now. I think Membu went.
He
Looks
did.
like because he's flying up boards for obvious reasons here. So
Take the corner and piss everybody off.
I do like Will Johnson.
I do
don't.
too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what portion of the fan base do I want to make mad right now?
Yeah,
Because it's going to happen one way or another.
Yeah, it'll be pretty split. Yep.
Shamar Stewart probably get you cussed out.
Yeah. You know what? Let's get nuts.
Do it.
Let's take Ashton
Do it.
Genty.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's do it.
I love it. I love it.
I just made Jack Duffin so angry.
Oh my God.
He's somewhere right now being like, there's a disturbance in the force. He's trying to figure it out. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't.
He just woke up from a nightmare.
Yeah, he's like covered in sweat. He has no idea what happened. All right. I'll do Travis Hunter this week, solely for all the reasons I just said. I have a mock. By the time you guys are watching this, my written mock has come out. I took Travis Hunter in that written mock. I later took a wide receiver and a corner in the 6th round. So, and somebody asked me this on our the Ask the Insider side. They were asking us over on the forums on the OBR.com. They're like, would you take Travis Hunter even if you think he's wide receiver that he's a wide receiver / corner? Would you take a wide receiver at 33? I'm like, I don't think I would double down that quickly. But like, yeah, if you want to take a 6th round wide receiver or even a 4th round wide receiver, because you're like, yeah, he's going to play some wide receiver, but I want to hedge my bets and have some insurance and some because that room could stand for more than one body being added to it. So, just something to think about when you take Travis Hunter. You say he scratches these 2 itches. Doesn't mean you can't scratch him again. Doesn't mean you can't take a guy that is just a corner, a guy that is just a wide receiver later in the draft. Just a scenario I wanted to throw out there because it was just something that I had. Oh God, I got an interesting dilemma when I'm back up. There's a weird board in front of me.
Whoops. My board shows me Josh Simmons. I'm not going to overthink this at all.
No, don't.
I'm building from the trenches outward. And maybe in a year or two, we'll be in a spot where we can get silly with skill positions for finishing touches. But as I stand right here and looking at this, I got it. Like, this is a good spot for defensive tackles. I can't overthink Josh Simmons. In my mind, he's a no doubt 1st round talent. He slips out. My guess is that Dart must have went somewhere in the 1st round to push him this far down, and I'm happy for it. So Josh Simmons.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, I know we said at the beginning of the offseason, let's stop betting on injured players, but
I know I can't quit it. Apparently, I got 2.
I can't either.
You heard me give that diatribe early, but right now I got 2 guys who are currently injured that I see as plug and play. Forget it's for at least 2 contracts.
Yeah, it's like, and we talked about it not taking a quarterback early as all 3 of us haven't, and it's like, well, guess what? I'm going to build around that quarterback. Like, the defense is better in your scenario, and you're protecting whoever the quarterback's blind side is.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of that, so Simmons also on the board. Josh Connerly also on the board. I think in reality, neither of those guys makes it to 33, and I would be sprinting in the card if that happened.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
going to
be
go
pretty
Jackson Dart
surprised.
here, though. I am going to take the quarterback.
Okay.
So we have that extra first rounder next year, but I'm also taking a dart throw. And I just came up with that. No one has ever heard that before. I think that Dart definitely has more physical tools than Sanders does. He's not as polished a player as Sanders is right now. But I think he actually has the athletic ability to do what Sanders does behind the line of scrimmage. He can even be part of your running game. I mean, you don't really want to use your quarterback that way, for injury concerns, but he has the explosiveness and the quickness to do some damage. I think that his arm strength is good enough. I don't think it's elite, but I don't have any concerns about it. I think he has some inconsistencies in his ball placement, and that's kind of my biggest issue right now. But the potential is there, the talent is there, and I think I'm willing to take that chance right now. And if I end up in a position next year where I feel, okay, I have the chance to go and get someone who I think is a legitimate top 5 prospect, I'm still probably going to do that unless Dart blows me away as a rookie if he ends up on the field. So worst case scenario, I have my backup for, the next 3 years after that. And maybe he becomes the next Joe Milton and another team, calls another team's fan base is like, we got to trade for this guy because we think he can be a franchise quarterback. And I end up, recouping some of my investment. But I think Dart is the guy who I'm more comfortable taking a swing on, as opposed to Sanders, just because of physical traits.
Yeah, if you were asking me that question, that's a floor versus ceiling conversation, and Dart.
Yep.
Dart's got it. It's just the mental side of he wasn't asked to do much, and yeah,
I got 2 takeaways with that pick. The first one would be Sam intended his pun, which I respect. Only cowards don't intend puns.
true.
And I would not be eating Spam, which if you watch All Eyes on Cleveland, if you know, you know.
That kind of works out for you there.
Yeah.
Works out for you perfectly. All right. So somehow James Pierce Jr. is still here in this spot. I'm not going to take him. He is a smaller kind of guy. I'm not sure if he fits. Derek Harmon's the one I would love. Him and Bull Rush McIntyre are here. There's Bull Rush McIntyre down here. They both would make a ton of sense for a Jim Schwartz scheme. But I feel like if I do that again and I take a defensive tackle at 33, I might be murdered. Like, I'm just not sure I'll make it out if I do it. I like Nick Scorton a ton there too, since I didn't take Abdul Carter. Like, Nick Scorton went into the year as my edge 1. Like that was edge 1, edge 2 going into the year, and he put on a bunch of bad weight and looked nothing like his Purdue tape, and now he's down to 256 and looking like his Purdue tape, and you're like, well, let me have him at 33. I don't think it happens. Josh Conley's here in this situation. I spread the card up to the podium. I can only do what the board gives me. I think he's one of, if not the best athlete. Him and Mimbu's a very good athlete too, but he's one of the best athletes at the position. Needs a little bit more strength and power in the run game. But I think that he does a real good job when he is bull rushed of kind of recovering and re-engaging with the defensive lineman. So I think he's a smart player. I think just get him in an NFL strength and conditioning program for a year, and then let's have this conversation again.
All right. Here we go. I got a couple trade offers. Let's check them out. Chicago offering 72 and a 6th. I want to pass on that one. But Seattle here is going to raise the floor of my draft for me. I'm going to draw back 3 picks. Probably going to miss out on Quinshon Judkins. But this is a deep enough running back class that I think I can recoup that on the back end, and we're going to accept that trade.
I like that.
Try double trade. I mean, look at these.
Dude, look, you did not miss. Judkins is still there. I can see it.
You know what? We're not going. we're not overthinking this. I don't even mean to draft back-to-back Ohio State guys, but it happens. The board's the board. So I rose the floor of the draft class, and I got to pick a stud running back. Win-win.
I love Judkins so much. Like that would be so. There's only been a handful of times I've ever audibly like freaked out over a pick, and one of them was Nick Chubb. When they picked Nick Chubb, I screamed. I was very excited for that. If they were to take Quinshon Judkins anywhere, I'd take him at 33 because I am as my 32nd overall prospect on my big board. So that's just who I am. But if they were able to find Judkins at you stop trying to trade away all your picks.
I got an extra one, so I got to even it out at some point.
Everybody who watches this show gets the running joke there.
We didn't.
But I would cheer for Judkins, is what I'm trying to say. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. So this is normally where I take a running back, but we already have a running back, so that makes things interesting. I'm intrigued by the idea of Jaden Higgins here. I don't think he's going to be there. But
he's really hard to place. He's all over the place on different big boards, like all over the place.
Yeah. I don't think it's too out, like 14 spot difference on the big board here between the picks. We can imagine I traded up, some of my late round picks for him. So I think these three picks, you wanted offense. The offense looks completely different now. You have an absolute stud running back. You've got a guy who has legitimate X-receiver all-around potential. And I think you're good to go. So I'm not endorsing this. I'm just trying to make the best of what the situation is. So
you can go ahead with your extra since you've got an extra.
Yeah, so 74 is what we got from the Panthers. Let's see. So we got a 20 picks until the next selection. I want to make sure I get a legitimate tackle prospect. So I think what I'm going to do is take Charles Grant again. I think that 67 is the sweet spot for him just because I think he's too talented to make it to, the 100 area.
Yeah.
So that's the perfect guy to just like sit there, sit him on the bench for a year and pack some muscle on there and then reap the benefits next season.
Yeah, ridiculous movement skills. Like if you're like a zone offensive lineman getting out in space and finding work, that's Charles Grant.
I'm gonna follow suit on what I did on my written mock for these first three picks because this is what I did. If I'm in this situation, I see no scenario that Jalen Milroe's there at 67. I just think that the upside is just there. So if I miss out on the top three guys, Jackson Dart, he's on the board here, but I think he goes much sooner. At 67, I'm taking Will Howard. I'm taking a high floor player here. I'm taking a high floor quarterback that in no way, shape, and form is going to threaten to – if you take Will Howard at 67, you have no qualms if you trade up and get a quarterback in the first round in 26. You have no qualms just because he's got kind of a lower ceiling kind of player. But I do believe Will Howard can run an offense in the NFL and do so efficiently. I think he's got a good arm. It's good. It's not great. He's got a good arm. I think his ball placement is inconsistent, especially on the deep ball. But what you saw at Ohio State was, hey, I got a ton of playmakers. Let me just put the ball out there, give them a chance to go make plays. And that's what he did perfectly. So if you build everything around him, and in this situation, you got him a franchise left tackle and you got him Travis Hunter to throw to, which he knows a thing or two. I mean, Jeremiah Johnson's a better prospect than Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. as strictly a wide receiver because he's got that size element. But he knows a thing or two about throwing the ball up to a physical freak that can make plays and create after the catch. And then you get Jerry Jeudy and you get David Njoku, and you hopefully add something in the run game. And you go, okay, like there's some similar stuff to what he had to do at Ohio State, and he did it really, really well. And that is he operates well in structure. He does what he's supposed to do. Every once in a while, he'll make a throw because he was on a heater in the playoffs. He made some throws that were crazy. He's got the arm to make those. Don't expect them, but you will get them here and there. And is he good enough to just operate an NFL offense? I do believe he is very good inside structure, and I think he could work in this system.
Yeah. You're buying brownie points with the fan base too, so.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying.
See, I'm not trying, but it keeps happening. Like I just keep drafting Ohio State players, and I don't helmet scout at all. But it's just the board's the board, you know.
I didn't even know this guy went to Ohio State.
You know
What are you
what I
talking?
mean?
Wait a minute.
Well,
I don't see helmet color.
I will say this, and Jacob can confirm. I don't even watch college football during the season. I don't watch it. That might change now that I'm off on Saturdays because I wasn't before. But I get it.
You were
all
never home to watch it, so like.
Yeah, I would know what's going on. I'd obviously know which players to follow, so I know who's tape to watch when it's time. But yeah, I did watch the playoffs though. That worked. All right, my board. I could piss everyone off and take Scattaboo. Not doing that. But I see a player here that I just can't quit. I can't quit. Elijah Arroyo, super 6'5", 250. I wish he would have been completely healthy. This also sticks to my gimmick of getting injured players, doesn't it?
It does.
But this kid would have tested ridiculous had he had the opportunity. The one, in my opinion, tight end in this draft with true breakaway speed. And you can literally isolate him out on slots, like a big slot, and let him work. He's physical enough. He's a willing participant in the run game as a blocker, but you won't have to do that. Perfect to pair him up with his former Hurricane teammate, Njoku, and kind of let them work in tandem in 12 personnel and really cause problems for especially linebackers.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it. Sam, talk a little bit longer than normal because I got pee.
All right. So there are a couple options here that I like. I am very intrigued by Jared Wilson. The Browns don't necessarily have a long-term answer to center. I know Luke Whippler's on the roster, but I mean he's been hurt, so we don't know what he is. Ethan Posick is probably in his last season.
I'm surprised he's actually back.
Yeah, I mean that was a consideration for a lot of people. They thought he would move on from him. The center market was kind of weird. Like there were some guys who just got a ton of money, and then others who got like nothing. So they just kind of didn't touch that. Wilson is just a fantastic athlete. Perfect scheme fit. I think he would be really good in this offense. So I would be happy with him here just for the value.
That spot. I love him in that spot.
But yeah.
I'm going to say what the entire chat is thinking right now. Did Jacob wash his hands or not? It was pretty quick. He's not
answering.
Not denying.
He's not answering.
Pleading the fifth.
I did.
Josiah Stewart would be very tempting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'll take him here because I don't think it's realistic that he'll last to 94. Perfect designated pass rusher though. Like just an exceptional athlete. I think he's got a lot of potential at the next level. But I don't think he's going to be there. So I'm going to take Jared Wilson and plan for the future of Charles Grant and Jared Wilson.
Yes.
On the offensive line with Ashton Genty running behind him. Pretty fun.
Yes. I got one here. It's easy. RJ Harvey, man. This has been my dude. You can ask Casey, especially, and Sam knows it too. He is actually the cover man of my guys list that'll come out later this week on the OBR.com. RJ Harvey, he's a 4-4 guy. So, like, he's not like Devon A-Chain or anything, but boy, does he get to that speed quick. Boy, is he explosive and decisive in the hole. And, like, I just like to bring up some of his numbers here just because I just like to show it. It's 32 carries of 15 or more yards. 32.
That's pretty good.
My favorite's the not just because it's the number 69, but missed tackles there. He's a missed tackle forcing machine.
69. And you can see 148 zone attempts versus 74 gap. He's really actually not that much better. He's a better zone runner, but he's not all that much better. And you can see the numbers here. The 22 touchdowns this year, the 16 touchdowns, he's UCF's. He had opportunities to go to a bigger school. He wanted to stay at UCF, and he broke their touchdown record. And I just think give Will Howard a guy like that. You know what I mean? Setting a limited quarterback. Well, that's an interesting one there. I hate sometimes when I'm doing these mocks. See, you guys watching this understand that this is how I do my written mocks. This is how all of this happens. I'll be like talking to myself about these, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to take this running back here, so I can probably take an edge next where, and then all of a sudden something pops up, and I'm like, shit.
All right.
It goes.
Still not going to take Scatterboo. I like Scatterboo though. But I don't see him as a workhorse. I see him as a complementary piece. I see him most as a receiving back. I know a lot of people don't share that sentiment, but I think he could be very dangerous. But that's not what we're doing here today. Today, we are going to somehow just keep drafting Buckeyes. It just keeps happening. I'm not meaning to do it. I need a quarterback. I love Will Howard. All the things Jacob said earlier.
Out of the sky.
Ring true. But like his pre-snap to post-snap recognition, he understands the leverage, and his legs actually raise the floor of the player. Like he's not like he will move the chains, and he's also like, okay, say the worst case scenario, he's your long-term backup. Worst case, maybe he can be your starter in 2 or 3 years. But if not, you got your backup. You know he's heady. You know you can come in a pinch. So I view that as a very important position in itself. So for me, Will Howard at 104, and then I think that's about. I think he'll go before that, but I think that's the roof. You know, they're around that range right there.
Yeah. Go ahead and this is your extra pick you picked up. So go ahead. And,
okay, look at me double dipping here. Yeah. Tennessee's trying to honey dick me. Well, it's the only one I got. We're gonna see what the board looks like first here. Okay, let's just for review there. West. Oh my God, that's sexy. That's sexy.
As CJ West has no business being there.
No, and I love CJ West. His lateral movement along the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Jordan Phillips. Demetrius Knight, if he wasn't an old man already, be a perfect pickup right there. Okay. There's one thing I don't like about the PFN is your ability to scroll. We're loaded up on offense, looking at defense here.
Yeah, that's where I start doing my defenses when I'm starting to get in these triple digits.
I'm going to go Caldwell. 330 pounds, shorter player, super quick burst, pushes the pocket, great run defender, loading up there.
I like it. I'm tempted to double dip at running back here, but I think I'm going to wait there.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Dorian Strong here and bolster the cornerback room.
I like it.
He's a bit of a different player than they have in the room right now, but I think that's a good thing. Different skill set, and they just need talent there. They need depth in that room. Because they just don't have it right now. So, and then for my next trick, I'm going to trade up at some point and talk about one of these edge rushers, because we didn't get Abdul Carter, so there's a spot for a rookie edge, and there's a very interesting player who's still on the board, who's actually rated very low. We're going to go get him. So Antoine Powell-Ryland from Virginia Tech. The reason that he is so low on this board, I would have to think, is because he has second and third percentile arm length and wingspan. He's no length whatsoever, which is really unfortunate because it's kind of important for a pass rusher. He's extremely explosive, though. Let's see here. 82nd percentile in the vertical, 87th in the broad jump, 75th percentile in the 40-yard dash. Very, very productive player. And I think that combination is worth taking a chance on at this point. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trade up for him at 166 here.
All right. So I'm going to look at the same position, but I'm going here. I'm taking David Walker, the edge from Central Arkansas. I like him a ton. Just a crap ton of production, sack production. He's a stand-up designated pass rusher in the NFL. That's what he's going to be. But you're here at 104. You want to add to that room a little bit. Got a really nice, quick first step. He's smaller. He's kind of undersized, but he's got a very deep bag of pass rush moves. And that's what I always keep coming back to is like he's got counters. He's got a rip. He's got a swim. He's got a spin. Like he can stack and shed pretty well for somebody that doesn't have very much length. He can win with some power. So you can switch between those two, but he's probably limited to just being a situational edge rusher. But at pick 104, getting me a central looking at his sack numbers here, the 12, the 9, and the 16 the last 3 years. Just one of the more experienced and productive situational edge rushers you're going to find this late in the draft.
All right, boys, back on the board here. I'm going to go with a position that I know everybody's focused on the quarterback, what the Browns have done or haven't done so far. But for me, the thing that is the most surprising is they haven't addressed free safety.
That's pretty surprising, yes.
Yeah, and I still think they will. I still think they'll go get a free agent. I still think that'll happen. But I'm going to take Katan Crawford here.
Who? Oh, Katan Crawford. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the move for me. We need to shore up that. We need to invest in the future. Now, I think that Andrew Berry's track record of going and getting a free agent for the position, it always looks good on paper when they do it, but for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out. So I'm going to go get a young guy that hopefully they can develop so they don't have to keep renting these guys for 2 years at a time and can have
2
a
years
long-term
before
solution.
Cutting their shitty contract.
Yes. It's what's happened. Can't make it up.
So you're about to experience what I experience on most Mondays, which is where me and you, Sam's about to be done with his mock, and we're going to have like 4 more picks.
So you don't get to be mad at me because look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's plenty.
That's true.
That is more than my contractual obligations here. So I'm going above and beyond. So you're welcome. Double dipping at running back, I think makes sense here. I'm going to go with Jarquez Hunter, just because I think Genty's your bell cow. I could go with a guy like Monungai and then have Jerome Ford as your home run hitter, but I think Hunter kind of will fill that role long term, and then you can let Ford walk after the season. So not necessarily like super explosive, but he has really good long speed, so he's more of like a build-up runner.
Yeah, he gets going.
That's fine. So yep.
All right. I'm going to do a center of the future. I'm going to take Jonah Monheim, the center from USC. Bring something up real quick just to show it here. He's spent time at right tackle, right guard, left tackle, and center. Center this year, I thought, was maybe his best position. I think that's kind of where he goes in the future. So kind of a guy that has only played it 1 year, but you saw a guy that was like smart enough to call out some protections and things like that, just from his experience playing all over the line. And maybe you get him in a camp and you're like, hey, this guy might actually be a guard, or he might be able to play some swing tackle or some things like that, because he's played every position but left guard
everywhere. Yeah.
Like we've literally watched him do it. So a guy like that at 179 with that kind of versatility is just it's a little too hard for me to pass up something like that.
All right. Every year I get these guys that I can't quit. Right. And no matter what, they'll pop up on my board, and I can't talk myself out of it. So that one of the players this year, there's 2 offensive linemen that are developmental projects in my mind that I would be thrilled to take. Sam already got one, Charles Grant. So I'm going to take the other, and Alabama A&M's Carson Vinson. Tremendous length. What he was able to do at the Senior Bowl, and what he was able to show, taking that step up in competition and really meeting the challenge. And I've seen some people predict him as an interior offensive lineman. To me, that is crazy talk. He has, I just think his footwork, his length, and his ability to leverage and redirect, in the same rep, be patient enough to redirect a counter. Like I see a lot of positive traits that I love there. And I don't think it's a plug and play, obviously, but you went and got Josh Simmons, getting Carson Vinson here lower. You've reset your tackle room for the future going forward.
He's got his hands, man.
Yeah, dude. Big fan.
Violence, just unadulterated violence.
I'm going to finish it up with Jimmy Horn Jr. Second receiver. I think it's just value at this point. He's undersized, but I just think he's got that all-around skill set, and I just think he's a good wide receiver. I can see him having success at the NFL level that outperforms his draft slot, and that's what I'm banking on here. So it's my final pick, and it's we're 56 minutes into this, so I think I did pretty well.
Yeah. We've got like 4 minutes to we gotta go. So we gotta do something here. I want to go defensive tackle. I haven't gone defensive tackle. I always end up doing this. The guy I like to take, Cameron Jackson, I think is probably where I'm going to go. Good run defender. You can see the 6.8% pass rush win rate. Doesn't give you a ton in upside there, but you can see the measurements, 6'6", 342. Does a real good job anchoring the middle of the defensive line. Can be that guy in the short yardage, early down situations that can provide some run defense. Casey, lightning round.
All right. Very few things in this life are certain. Death, taxes, and Andrew Berry getting a cornerback. So we're going to pick our cornerback up here. And because I don't have 216 because I traded it away for 137, we are going to go with BJ Adams out of UCF, a long corner press man guy. Came on my radar actually against Travis Hunter. Some outstanding reps, and I'm taking a swing that he can do that on the perimeter going forward.
Also, I got a double dip to get to your last pick. Got it. I like Keandre Lambert-Smith here in this spot, the wide receiver from Auburn. Dude can straight fly.
Love that.
He's small, 6'1", 182. I can't remember what his official measurements were, but he's a smaller guy in that situation. But you've seen a little bit in the slot. He's done some time in the slot, done some stuff out wide, but this dude can fly. He broke 4 threes. So if you're talking about, let's make sure we also have a guy that is just a wide receiver because we took Travis Hunter. That's all right. I can take Lambert Smith. I really think he fits in that spot because you're just looking for
at Penn State too,
right?
Underrated. And then you add that 4-3 on. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you're like, oh, but when you're taking 6th round picks, you're like, you just give me something I can make a bet on. Give me something I can hedge a bet on, and I can hedge my bets on a 4.3 speed.
Can work with that.
Ooh, I gotta take Dupree here, don't I? Because I don't have a tight end. What's my other tight end options here? Don't love it. I'll take Gadsden. Gadsden's a power slot. But, David Njoku didn't know how to block when he got here either. So
Some would argue he still doesn't.
I don't
be wrong.
I don't get people with that shit. They're like, you can't block. I'm like, you can't open your eyeballs and watch football.
Short and sweet. I'm double dipping to end this. I'm taking Trevor Etienne, Georgia, speed. He's a smaller stature guy. I'm just trying to stock up and get some guys who could be third down options going forward. We already took Judkins early, so we got the power. We're going to take Etienne to give us a little speed option on the back end. It's a 255. It doesn't hit.
You want to give me? I got to go the other direction because you got. I did RJ Harvey earlier. Give me Raheem Sanders to be my battering ram.
Rocket Sanders.
If he decides to be there, what they come in like 230. The dude's a load coming down the line, man. Like he's gonna be it. All right, real quick before we wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, the bell, so you know when we do that. Email me at this if you want to get in on a charity fundraising draft first round challenge. Make sure you do that if you want to do that. Sam, real quick, go through your draft before we wrap this up. Let me get mine off the screen.
So we started off with a trade. We moved down to number 8 with the Panthers, picked up round 3, pick 74, and then a first round next year, which we're hoping is a top 10 pick to move up for a quarterback. Ended up with Ashton Genty, the all-world running back prospect at 8. Took a swing at Jackson Dart, quarterback at 33. Picked up Jaden Higgins, wide receiver from Iowa State at 67. 74, we landed the offensive tackle prospect Charles Grant. 94, we double-dipped on offensive line and picked up the exceptional athlete Jared Wilson, who will be your center of the future. At 104, we picked up Dorian Strong, the corner from Virginia Tech. We traded up to 166 to take Antoine Powell-Ryland, the extremely athletic and productive pass rusher from Virginia Tech. So that's 2 Hokies in a row. Jarquez Hunter, Auburn running back at 192. And then finish things up with Jimmy Horn Jr., the wide receiver from Colorado.
And now for Casey's fan service.
Well, I'll tell you right now, meat and potatoes. We got better today, boys. Abdul Carter, Josh Simmons, Quinshon Judkins. Right there, just that first 3, that's physicality. Elijah Arroyo, he's someone that can help now and then in the future when you decide to move on from Njoku, he kind of steps into that role. Will Howard, don't know if he'll be your starter eventually, but he's a high-level backup at bare minimum. Caldwell is a fantastic rotational player. It he can own the A-gap, super quick off the ball, push pockets. Crawford, you need that young safety. You need to keep developing that so you can stop renting these free agents that keep failing us. Carson Vincent's a passion project of mine. I really believe in the young man. I think in 2-3 years, by the end of his rookie contract, I believe he's a solid NFL starter. BJ Adams, kind of a dart throw. He has the traits that Jim Schwartz likes. He has the length. He's a press man guy. He's aggressive. And Etienne is another dart throw at the end to see if we can get some electricity in that running back room. Jitterbug type guy, smaller stature, but if you use him as a rotational player, he could work out. Why not?
Yeah. I started with Travis Hunter, the wide receiver corner from Colorado. Josh Connerly, the left tackle from Oregon. Got Will Howard, who I think I'm with Casey. At worst, he's a high-end backup. The explosive RJ Harvey, the running back from UCF. The uber productive David Walker, the pass rusher from Central Arkansas. The do-everything offensive lineman in the center, Jonah Monheim from USC, Cameron Jackson, the Florida defensive tackle, there to shut down the run, Keandre Lambert-Smith, the speedster, to add a little bit more excitement to the wide receiver room, the tight end, Oronde Gadsden the second, who's more of a power slot than he is an inline tight end, and the power running back, Raheem Sanders, there at the end from South Carolina, guys. We appreciate you guys so much. Only 2 more episodes before the draft, and then we'll probably have an episode right after that where we come on here and we just kind of talk through what happens. And then we're switching over to Sam and I have our film breakdown series that'll start on the prospects that were actually picked. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll see you guys again next Monday night. Make sure you stay plugged into everything the OBR has going on. We love you guys. And as always,